Hello and welcome to a very special show. This is the 15th anniversary special of the 2011 World Cup. At that point in time, I was actually into active reporting. I remember the World Cup started in Dhaka around the 18th of February. And all of us were in Dhaka from the 15th onwards. The World Cup culminated on the 2nd of April, and my routine was from Dhaka to Bengaluru, Bengaluru to Delhi, Delhi to Nagpur, Nagpur to Chennai, Chennai to Ahmedabad, Ahmedabad to Mohali, Mohali to the final, obviously Mumbai, and then back to Calcutta. So close to about 50 days on tour following the Indian team and the World Cup. Now in Dhaka, I remember the night before, I came out around what, midnight, 11:30, 12 o'clock, having finished my work. There were close to 5, 6, 7,000 people outside of the stadium screaming. I went and asked them, who are you? I mean, do you have tickets? Are you coming for the match? Each one I spoke to, in fact, I had written about it, none of them had tickets. So I said, why are you here at midnight? So they said, no, we are here. And I realized this was crazy fandom in Bangladesh. Crazy. And when they realized that I was also speaking in Bangla, they opened up, and most of them said they were expecting Bangladesh to once again beat India, much like the 2007 World Cup. So I realized, okay, that kind of explains it. The very first ball defined it. It was in one sense a revenge game. Virender Sehwag dispatched the very first ball to cover boundary and India smashed Bangladesh. Literally smashed Bangladesh. The 2000 World Cup memory finally was gone. You know, that defeat had been redeemed. And once that World Cup, this thing was done, that Bangladesh game was out of the way, we started thinking that now, that scar is not there. That scar is not there. The one thing I must tell you, from the very start of the tournament, and at that point in time, Yuvraj Singh's mother, Shabnam, and I were very close friends. I at least had an idea that Yuvraj was not keeping well. None of us knew what was going on, but what we did know was that he wasn't keeping well. So in the context and the backdrop of Yuvraj not keeping well, the kind of performance that he put out, 370 runs and 15 wickets, was just magnificent. From Dhaka, the next India match was on the 27th of February in Bengaluru. Now that match was supposed to be played in Kolkata. But because of the fight between Jagmohan Dalmia and the Sharad Pawar lobby, Sharad Pawar, Shashank Manohar versus Dalmia, it was an acrimonious fight. Dalmia had come back to power at the Cricket Association of Bengal. Couple of years later, everybody became, one team and one unit, and all the fight, etc., was sorted. But this particular match, the reason cited was Eden Gardens was not ready. Now, the truth was obviously the problem within the BCCI. The match had moved to Bengaluru. And I remember that was a classic match. There was a bit of a ritual that Sachin and I used to follow. We were very good friends. We'd started work on the autobiography. So Sachin and I would meet once before every game. That had become a bit of a ritual. In Bangalore, when I met him, he was working on a new bat of his. Anybody who knows Tendulkar will know that Sachin is one such person who works on his own bats. He works on them, oils them, does work on them. Here he was working on a new bat. Now I asked him, why are you doing this? Because clearly you will not use this. And he too, I remember saying that, this is actually a waste of time. There's no point in me wasting time, energy one day before a match on this new bat. Chalo isko rakh dete. And then he went on to his old bat. As luck would have it, Tendulkar started brilliantly against England and played a full-blooded cover drive. After the match, he told me, I played that shot. That ball should have raced to the boundary. That ball did not pass the infield. I thought, what has happened? And then I realized the bat with which I was playing, my old bat, my favorite bat, it had broken. So he gestured to the dressing room and actually asked for that new bat that he was working on. And it was with that new bat that Sachin played and got 100. After that game, and that game was sensational, Andrew Strauss played one of the most entertaining one-day innings, 130 plus at one point. England was almost destined to win. Then Zahir Khan, with that incredible second spell, brought India back into the game. Match ended in a tie. I remember doing my show from outside the stadium when an SMS became viral. At that point in time, WhatsApp was not there. SMS became viral which said that if Mahendra Singh Dhoni as captain, there is a tie at the start of the tournament, India goes on to win. They cited the 2007 T20 World Cup also, when Mahendra Singh Dhoni as captain, India versus Pakistan was a tie. India went on to win the tournament. So it was considered a good omen that here the match had ended in a tie versus England. Now India will go on and win the World Cup. Thereafter, the juggernaut moved to Delhi. It was a fairly easy win. We went to Nagpur. Nagpur, I will have to say, it was one of the best innings of Sachin Tendulkar that I had seen at recent times. They were fantastic innings. Batted beautifully against Dale Steyn. Beautifully against Dale Steyn. But from a position of tremendous strength, India collapsed to 296 all out. Once that happened, South Africa had an opportunity. I remember Rajan Nair in that press box. We were having a chat. The food was outstanding at that Vidarbha ground. And in Jamtha, India lost. Close game, very close game. India lost. And after the match, the crowd was very, very volatile. As we were doing our shows, one of our female colleagues from a rival channel, in fact, her shirt was torn. People were angry and frustrated and upset. How can India lose the match? And we could sense that the stakes at that World Cup was simply massive. India could just not afford to fail. If they somehow failed from there on, things could go dire for India. Things could go dire. Next match was in Chennai. Yuvraj Singh got 100. India won that game against the West Indies. India played well, made a comeback. And now, the three games that would define the tournament for India. The Ahmedabad game, which was the quarterfinal against Australia, the semi-final against Pakistan, and then the final. In Ahmedabad, it was clash of titans. Australia 2003-2007 winner. Third time chasing that title. Also remember 1999, Australia, 1999, 2003, 2007. It is all Australia. They were going for a record fourth title. Quarterfinal in Ahmedabad. Ricky Ponting, 100. Incredible match. I can tell you the press box was buzzing. It was so hot. Sachin Tendulkar had started a new routine and was sleeping on the floor of his hotel, if you go and ask him, because he felt the bed was at a slant and it was impacting his sleep. He couldn't sleep properly and he had moved entirely to liquid diet because it was so intensely hot, more than 42, 43 degrees centigrade. Incredible match. India 187 for 5, chasing 250 plus. Mahendra Singh Dhoni out. Suresh Raina and Yuvraj Singh. Suresh Raina, before he went out to bat, when he was sitting next to Sachin Tendulkar, and when Dhoni got out, Tendulkar told Raina, "Ye match jita ke aana." If you ask Suresh, Suresh will tell you that, in that one sentence, he said, I thought, इस आदमी 22 साल वेट किया है फॉर दिस पर्टिकुलर वर्ल्ड कप. अगर ये वर्ल्ड कप हम नहीं जीतते हैं तो इनका क्रिकेट करियर में ये वर्ल्ड चैंपियन होने का जो इनका श्रेय है ये नहीं मिलेगा पाजी को. It was for Paji. It was something different. That if I don't win this particular game and if Australia wins, means Sachin Tendulkar will complete his cricket career without a World Cup title. Suresh Raina and Yuvraj Singh batted like an absolute dream. And all of us remember Yuvraj Singh's carnal scream at the end of the game with hands spread out and Suresh Raina beating Australia in Ahmedabad. Our shows continued late into the night, and as the Indian team bus was leaving, it was one heck of a night. The defending champions had been knocked out of the World Cup. India had made the semi-final. It was unbelievable. And who is to be played? Pakistan. Wow. The two countries, the premiers of the two countries, the prime ministers of the two countries were to come to Mohali to watch. And there's a fascinating anecdote between Harbhajan Singh and Shoaib Akhtar. Shoaib Akhtar, ahead of the semi-final, went and asked Harbhajan Singh, "Can you give me a few tickets for the final in Mumbai?" Harbhajan asked him, "Why?" "Ask for the semi-final. I understand that people from Pakistan are coming to watch. Why are you asking tickets for the final?" So Shoaib said, "No, I'm asking because my friends want to come." Harbhajan told him, "But your team is not going to make it. So don't ask. We are beating you hands down." So that's how it was. And frankly, that semi-final was a classic. Mohali, On the day of the semi-final, the morning of the semi-final, Gary Kirsten went down to the dining room in the team hotel. The dining room was all cordoned off. He said, what happened? Because of the premiers of the two countries are here, his diplomatic team will come here for breakfast. Nobody else is allowed. So the Indian team thought we will have some food in the ground. Now, at that point in time, there was, technology was not like today. There was the use of outside broadcast vans, OB vans. There were about 100 of these OB vans from 100 different television channels which had lined up outside the stadium. As a result, the Indian team's food truck did not reach the stadium. So the Indians did not eat anything going into that match against Pakistan. Around 12:30, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock start. 1 o'clock, the players were very hungry and they were like, we have not eaten anything. Sachin convened a meeting of the team and told them that, have you come here to eat or have you come here to beat Pakistan? Go and score runs, your hunger will die down. Go and take wickets, your hunger will die down. Don't keep cribbing, saying we want to eat, we want to eat. Beating Pakistan is more food than anything that you would possibly want to eat. India started brilliantly with Virendra Sehwag taking on the likes of Umar Gul and people. Sachin Tendulkar got an 85. That controversial DRS decision, out or not, umpire gave him out. The DRS showed not out. Shahid Afridi dropping a couple of catches. India scored a reasonable total. Suresh Raina once again playing a massively important hand towards the end, steering the Indian total to a respectable zone, and then that Pakistan run chase. It was at one point seeming that Pakistan had it. Then Yuvraj Singh picks that wicket. Then Harbhajan goes round the wicket to an Umar Akmal and bowls him. And that's when India really started exerting their grip on the game. Shahid Afridi, when he got out to a full toss, we realized that now this is India's game. Finally, when Virat Kohli took that catch, everybody erupted. The celebrations went on till about 3 a.m. in Mohali. Abhishek Bachchan, Amir Khan, all of these Bollywood stars were there. I remember each one of them celebrating till late into the night. All of us worked practically all night. And then in the morning, one couldn't sleep. I went back to the team hotel at 7 a.m. I saw Gary Kirsten and Paddy Upton, both of who are good friends of mine. They were having breakfast. So I walked up to Gary Kirsten and told him, what a team you have created. Because the thought was whatever Gary says would be a great story. Gary, while he was picking his fruit with his fork, said, what do you mean? And I said, no, what a team you've created. And he said, if you think that all of these fellows are friends, you are badly mistaken. Each one of them are superhuman performers. They will have huge egos. I don't even want them to be friends. It is not about socially going out with each other every evening with families. All I want is when the final catch goes up, whoever is under that ball should take that catch for India. In these two sentences, the essence of teamwork, or what teamwork actually means, was revealed in front of me. The final stop, Mumbai. Sachin Tendulkar remembered that story from 2011 when he had come back to Mumbai from the Caribbean and wanted to retire. And in that sea link where Anjali picked Sachin up, where Vivian Richards also called him and said, 4 years later, the final is at Wankhede. Don't you want to be a part of that? And that's why Sachin did retire. Now was his opportunity. On the morning of that game, when I was coming from the Taj Hotel, I was actually staying there, the same hotel the team was. Not a single fan was allowed on Marine Drive. Police had asked everybody to vacate that so that there was no pressure. Indian team would come there. And it was kind of, something had happened. It was like curfew. And then that match happened when India finally won. That Gautam Gambhir 97, Mahendra Singh Dhoni 90 plus, incredible knocks. At night, once the game was over, Marine Drive was like a parade. That whole victory parade that you've recently seen in 24, that was getting enacted. As far as Tendulkar is concerned, his wife always had the superstition that she never came to the ground. This time round, Sachin called her. She came to the ground in her new BMW. And as she entered, people looked from the glass and said, inko chhod do, inko chhod do. And then as the driver dropped her and I was coming out of the car, all of the people jumped on top of the car, on the bonnet and the hood, and started jumping. So next day when Sachin saw the car, he had dents all over. The car was like, the body was dented. He said, kya ho gaya? So when he got to know, he told Anjali, leave it and we will always keep this car because this is a memory and these dents are all happy dents. So that's what transpired. And at night, it took the team 3.5 hours to go back to the hotel. I was in the hotel. I requested Sachin to help me get in. It was the 6th floor. Anjali had put a flower in Sachin's ear and they were dancing. I don't think they've ever done that in their lives. Zahir Khan and Harbhajan Singh were dancing to Rab Ne Tujh Mein Rab Dikhta Hai. It was something extraordinary. And then I remember Virat Kohli, Virendra Sehwag, Yuvraj Singh, that invited, we were all in Yuvraj's room. And at 1 o'clock, we had biryani for dinner and celebrated with the World Cup. It was heavy. And finally, I ended my night interviewing Yuvraj Singh. If you watch that interview with my previous organization, you will see the final question and Yuvraj answers. I asked him, so what next? And he said, the celebration, or aapne mujhe jaane nahi diya hai. So that's how that night ended. The next day, the President of India celebrated with Mahendra Singh Dhoni, who had shaved his head off. That was part of a ritual, and Sachin Tendulkar went home to his mother. He said when his mother received him on that day, it was like his life was actually fulfilled. These were great moments. So we thought we'll bring you all of this as part of our 15th anniversary celebration. I hope you enjoyed the show. If you did, subscribe to the platform, ring the notification bell for many such videos from Revsportz. Thank you very much for watching.